I maxed out my level in bloxfruits in 7 days. Now, how did I do this? Well, let's talk about it. Because I found this game it's very complicated. It's not like any other game. There's no direct path on how to beat this game because it doesn't directly tell you certain things. You kind of have to pick them up along the way. Luckily for me, I had a Discord community which helped me out a ton. If you guys want a lot of help on bloxfruit, I recommend you join my Discord, link in the description. So when I say this game doesn't help you out, I don't mean that the little quest marker over here doesn't help you track what quests you should be doing. I mean that it doesn't tell you to go get Hucky, it doesn't tell you to go get the jump step, it doesn't tell you to get flash step, it doesn't tell you any of that stuff, it doesn't tell you to go get observation Hucky, it doesn't tell you squat, right? So you have to figure that stuff out on your own, and it can be a little bit complicated, so I'm going to talk to you guys about how I leveled up in this video very, very quickly. The first thing I used was Tubby's XP farming guide. Now this is a wiki forum that for the game that someone has gone on and made, and he practically tells you quest by quest, every C in the game, what to do, what level to do it at, everything you need to know. I'm gonna leave a link to that wiki page in the description below. It will help you out a ton in this farming. Okay, I feel like this is really, really important to say, but the fruit you use is extremely, extremely important. Now, as you can see, I'm using Butter. Now, Butter is probably the best farming fruit, hands down. There is no other fruit that beats Butter, but unfortunately, Butter is pretty hard to get. It does cost quite a lot of money from the stock trader, and it is quite a rare fruit to get and unlock, so let's go over some alternatives that you can use that I used as well. Okay, so the first fruit that I had was ice. Now, ice is a pretty solid starting farming fruit. It's okay. It's not the worst in the world. It's not the best, but the important part is it's a Logia fruit. Now, if you don't know what a Logia fruit is, it's pretty simple. It just means that when an enemy tries to attack you and you're a higher level than them by a certain amount of levels, they can't do any damage to you. As you can tell, that would be extremely OP for farming. That's why you should always go for Logia fruits. It's really, really simple to find out what type of fruits are Logia fruits. I'll just put them on the screen here so you can see all the type of Logia fruits that you should go for. I highly recommend getting a Logia fruit when you first start this game. Super useful, and it helped me a lot. Now, obviously not all Logia fruits are built the same. Some are better than others, and I'll get into that. The best Logia fruit is probably light, and I say this because it allows you to fly around the map really, really fast, and it also gives you very, very strong AoE abilities. So if you can get light, which is doable, very, very doable in the first sea, I did it. I was able to buy it from the shop because it was really cheap. It's not a very expensive fruit, and you can get the money very quickly. And you might even get lucky enough to get it from the gacha. I mean, if you're crazy lucky, you might even get Buddha as well from the gacha. So I highly recommend rolling the gacha every 2 hours. It's just really important. Alright, the next thing we're going to talk about is race. Now, race isn't too important in the first sea. I wouldn't worry about it too much. But if you can get your hands on the rabbit race, it's very useful because it's fast. Now, the rabbit race doesn't give you any extra damage or anything like that, but it's very quick, so you can get around to different areas a lot faster, which I find it's probably the best farming race in the game. It's not the best for raids or anything like that, but it's definitely really, really useful when you're trying to run around and farm. As you can see, if I'm using my ability here, this is V3, and I'm very, very fast. So this is very useful to just get around the map a lot and just get from area to area. So I highly recommend getting the rabbit race if you want to farm quickly. Any other race is fine though. It's not a super important thing, but I do highly recommend the rabbit race. If you're watching this video as it's come out, or if it's come out a couple days ago, then you're in luck because the love event is currently running right now, and it's very, very important that you play during this love event. So the way it works is if there are people in your server that are friends with you on your friends list in Roblox, then you gain a 15% XP boost for every friend you have in the server, up to 45%. Now, this is incredibly useful because obviously extra XP is lovely. Also want to mention that if you have Roblox Premium, you do gain an extra 10% EXP boost, which helped me a ton. I didn't even know it was a thing until I was like level 1000, but it is very, very useful. Alright, now I'm going to tell you the one thing that is probably the biggest helper across this entire journey, and that is codes. Codes in this game are super, super in abundance. There are tons of them, right? And there are a ton of EXP codes. Now, I would highly recommend you not use any of these EXP codes for the first sea. Now, why do I say this? Because the first sea is very, very easy. I know you might be saying, oh, this is kind of difficult. I'm struggling to level up a little bit. Trust me, please hold out on your codes until the second and third sea because it becomes way harder. Put it in comparison, I finished the first sea in about a day worth of grinding. So probably around 12 hours I sat in the first sea for, and the second and third sea I probably sat for maybe double that, actually way longer than that, because here I am on day 7, finally reaching max. Okay, let's talk about stats. Stats are pretty important in this game because they can dictate how much damage you do and how much damage you can take, and obviously how much energy you have, and like, it's just really important. And a lot of people mess it up when they first get their stats. Luckily for me, I just pumped all of mine into melee and defense because I had Buddha in the second C. Now, if you did mess your stats up, don't worry. Those codes I mentioned before do have a bunch of stat resets, but try to use them sparingly because you don't want to use them all too much. So just reset it once and get them perfect the next time around. Okay, so what stats do I recommend? Well, if you're in the first C, I highly recommend you put 80% of your stats into the bloxfruit stat, just because it's really useful if you have a Logia fruit, or if you have light, or whatever fruit you're using, right? Unless you're using Buddha. If you have Buddha, just max out your melee and defense. You don't need any other stat. You don't need bloxfruit. But if you're using a Logia fruit like ice or light, as I mentioned before, you need to put 80% into the bloxfruit stat, and the rest need to go into melee, more importantly, and defense. This game doesn't really punish you when you die, so don't worry if you die a lot or something happens, because right now your bounty doesn't really matter. You don't need to PvP too much. Alrighty guys, well that's pretty much it for this video. Now, I made this video really quickly. I just wanted to quickly state a couple things where how I leveled up quickly, and also give you guys an update that I am now max level, so I'm going to start posting a lot more content on this game, just tutorials and stuff like that. If you guys want to see a full progression guide on this game to teach you how to get to level 1, from level 1, sorry, all the way to level 2450, how to go about killing every single NPC, every single area, it'll probably be an hour-long video, but if you guys want to see that video, then please let me know, and I will make it, but it will take me a while to make, so please bear that in mind.